In 2005, 3 schools in Kent came together to make the South Maidstone Federation. The largest school, Cornwallis, was joined by 2 smaller schools, Aldborough and Seneca. Each has its own head of school, and together they are overseen by an executive head teacher. This program will explore the federated system to see if being a head of one of its schools is a way to tackle the national shortage of head teachers.
So who wants to go first? Right, Steve, I think you want something.
Yeah, I'm going to spend most of the day over at Aldborough. Yeah.
It's 8 o'clock in the morning, and Sonette Schwartz, head of Cornwallis School, is holding her first meeting. The senior leadership team is gathered to discuss the issues of the day.
I have all the responsibilities that a head would have, in the sense that I'm responsible for staffing, I appoint staff, I'm responsible for the day-to-day running of the school, I'm responsible for liaising with parents, options evenings, all that type of thing. I'm also responsible for my budget.
Sonette took over the post as head in 2006 after spending 6 years at the school.
I was promoted internally. I became an assistant head, responsible for a variety of things, NQTs, sixth form, etc. And then I was promoted to the deputy. And then the governors decided that Cornwallis needed a head itself within the federation. So I was offered the job.
Cornwallis is the largest of the 3 schools in the federation, with over 1,600 pupils and a sixth form of over 300 students. Overseeing all 3 schools is Dr. Chris Jerry. He's based at Seneca, but spends time visiting the other 2 schools on a daily basis.
Hello. Hello. I'm good, and you?
Okay.
That's good. There's coffee for you.
Thank you very much.
What did you want? Your usual?
Yeah, very good.
So, staff briefing this morning.
Yeah.
Steve was saying he's going over to Aldborough today to go and support them with their moderation.
Right.
For English.
My role is to oversee the strategy as well as the day-to-day operations, and in order to make that work, we have heads of school in each site who are responsible for what happens in those schools, working within a framework which is set with, I suppose, by me and also the governors and the senior managers of the school.
I need your advice, Chris. We're looking at planning the curriculum for next year, and you know, we're not quite sure.
I take responsibility across all 3 schools for anything which goes wrong, and hopefully the heads of school take responsibility for anything that goes right. So it's a pretty good deal for them, I guess.
So you are doing raps, aren't you?
Yes.
Right.
It's a wonderful opportunity to gain all of that experience, but also in a safe haven of having a chief executive who will bail me out when I need it, and who is somebody I can turn to for advice. But it's also lovely because I have 2 other colleagues who are heads in the federation, and we support each other quite frequently. We help each other quite a lot with systems, with advice, and just emotional support as well.
Each week, the 3 heads of school meet to discuss their issues and to plan ahead. Today, recruiting staff is top of the agenda.
It makes it really difficult to make an enticing offer to these people because you can only pay them at the top of the unqualified scale because their qualifications don't count.
But you can.
So I've got a really good head of ICT at the moment who's earning peanuts, and I don't know how long I'm going to be able to keep him.
So we're going to look at some songs. We have the opportunity to discuss issues, to agree or disagree on certain things that we're going to do, and the opportunity to support each other in times of stress. You've got the opportunity to talk to each other and say, what do you think? And they will give an honest opinion, whereas I think some headship posts are lonely and you take those steps and those decisions alone. So it's having a team approach to some of the things that we do.
Chris is at the end of a phone. And he's very, very good in when you email him or phone him up, he responds straight away. And he's very good with giving us advice. He also gives us leadership because he produces a 50-day plan every term, 6 weeks, 6 weekly terms, which we then incorporate into our school development plans. So he gives us the guidance that we need. He is the visionary. He points the way, and we make it happen. So that's how I see my role. He says that's where I want the school to go, and I make it happen for him.
This model is predicated on the notion of fast change, that you can do a lot very rapidly. and 50-day cycles based on external Ofsted reviews, data from how children are doing, which means we can move fairly rapidly in terms of innovating, which also gives people a lot of experience in terms of new and exciting things to do regularly.
Performance management conversations need to take place within the next 2 or 3 weeks. All you need to do this 6 weeks cycle is to have a conversation, find out how the colleagues are doing, and also
allowing the heads to take control of the running of their own schools is an experience they wouldn't get if they took the more traditional deputy head route to headship.
just let me know how to
You do get a wider canvas to work on, and you do get a whole range of operational opportunities which you otherwise wouldn't see as a deputy. They've got carte blanche to learn from their own mistakes and to understand the kinds of processes we're trying to run, also understand the cultural dynamics which are in play here.
Morning, Year 7s and 8s. Good morning. Right, just I'm going to ask you a few questions to start with. Okay, hands up.
But being a head of school within a larger federation, rather than a head teacher of your own school, can also have its disadvantages.
It's an extinct bird, yes.
It's a wonderful learning opportunity that I wouldn't have got anywhere else, but I sometimes am frustrated because you do want to make your own decisions and sometimes you have to consult, which is good because we want the federation to go in the same direction. So sometimes there is a frustration and, you know, every now and then you think, well, like, if this was my school. So I would want my own headship at some point.
And that's exactly what Simon Heaton has done. He was once part of the federation heading up Seneca School, but in September 2006 he took the plunge and joined Warmer Science College as head teacher.
Since September it's been a very interesting time. I think, you know, we're trying to introduce quite a lot of change, and obviously that can be a bit unnerving for staff as well. So I think there's a real buzz about the school. It's quite an exciting place to be at the moment, although some of my senior staff will say, you know, they've never been so tired and they've never had to work so hard, but I think they're enjoying it and getting a buzz from it.
Simon feels his time at Seneca has equipped him well for his new role as head teacher.
I think it was a very good preparation for what I'm doing now. And I think it's made me more confident about being able to come in and lead and manage my own school than what, and you know, and it's given me the experience to back that up than would have been the case if I had moved straight from being a deputy head teacher to a head teacher.
As a head teacher, Simon has taken on the role of developing the strategic direction of the school with regular meetings with his senior staff. It's a new responsibility, one that wasn't part of his brief as head of a federated school.
To me, a key aspect of being a head teacher is that you get to implement your vision for a particular school in a particular place. And that's why, you know, I did move on after 2 years, because I wanted that role, if you like, and that ability.
And one of the changes that Simon is introducing is a more rounded approach to the curriculum, with the introduction of vocational courses and a fast-track programme in Key Stage 3 for the more able students.
It's about being a more inclusive school, I think, and making sure that we meet the needs of all learners and that they all feel part of the school, that they all identify with it, they all want to be part of it. I mean, for instance, in the past, if you didn't have 5 good GCSEs, you could not stay in sixth form because there were no courses for one-year sub students. So that's another development, so that we have more students in the sixth form and putting on courses to meet a broader range of needs.
While Warmer has been a very successful traditional college, Simon has been looking at ways of moving the school forward.
I'm very pleased to announce that yesterday we had a counsellor coming to the school. This is something some students and staff have been talking about for some time.
The changes that Simon has been putting into place have been helped by the long-established management team at Warmer. This has allowed him to have a more hands-on approach.
I do tend to get more involved with students and parents because I've got a more established senior team and they are used to taking responsibility for their own areas of the school.
Today, Simon is observing a lesson delivered by his deputy head, Kate Gregg, who is giving a drama class to a group of AS-level students.
Look at her. Sweaty palms, fumbling with her suitcase. She doesn't know what to do with herself. But I wouldn't, in that situation.
Miles up in the air, surrounded by all these people, but so alone. And there's no escape. Frankie! Frankie!
We can help her.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Kate, for letting me come in and observe the lesson this morning.
It's a pleasure.
So if you were to do that lesson again, what would you do differently?
I think that I might have stopped them a little bit earlier so that they could, we could have had a little bit more time, doing something at the end of that.
In terms of my viewpoint, that was an area I would put as an area for development. The plenary was quite quick at the end, and it would have been nice to have seen the students exploring in a little bit deeper with more use of language about what they'd actually learnt in that lesson. Okay, but I think other than that, there is no doubt to me that it was a good lesson with the students making good progress because of your good teaching. So well done.
Thank you very much.
There is a lot of good things here. And it's very important when you come into a school that you take time to look and to listen and to identify what the good practice is, because it's no good, throwing out the baby with the bathwater.
One aspect of the school Simon is keen to develop is the student voice. Today they are discussing music and art lessons.
Well, we use keyboards.
I like going on the computers and using the Magics thing because I'm quite good at ICT, and it's fun to listen to your music when you're not really playing a musical instrument.
So what do you do with the computer? What does it let you do?
It lets you have all the sounds when you don't, say you haven't got a guitar, and it lets you have a guitar and just drums and stuff.
Good.
And dealing with governors is another new experience for Simon.
When has he indicated that he would be leaving?
He'll go at the end of the school year. I think probably I spend more time working with governors than what I did at Seneca. The chair of governors tends to come in 2 or 3 times each week, and we sit down and we discuss how things are going, whether there are any issues. Whereas at Seneca, the chair of governors would talk with the chief executive.
So having spent his first year as a head teacher at Walmer, how does Simon feel his time as a head of a federated school prepared him for headship?
I think it gives you the experience of being responsible for a school, but you know that there is somebody above you who you can turn to when you need support and encouragement and advice. And the fact that at the end of the day, they are the legal head teacher of the school, and therefore, presumably, the book will stop with them should a big problem arise. And that can be comforting to you in your early stages as you get to grips with the role of running a school. So I would say it is a good model for training future head teachers.